us? Okay, we should be live now, I hope. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the November edition of Housing Stat. This is the meeting that we dedicate really to the unsheltered. So we're going to talk about all the efforts and things that are going on around our unsheltered population. So Housing Stat, as you all know, is really just it's a module, if you will, a priority stat that is built around the mayor's priorities. So we have an active module called Flood Stat. Obviously, we're in Housing Stat. There may be some more, another stat program coming online in 2024. So stay tuned for that. Exciting times and innovation. So why are we here? Why do we have this housing stat thing? You know, it's really our overall goal is to ensure an adequate supply of safe, quality housing options for all of our citizens. The team, best thing is, you know, that we're so cross-departmental, a lot of folks working together. I think one of the big benefits of these stat programs is really getting all of us in the room together to realize my video might be not so great. I'll deal with that when we turn over to the real presenters. It's using my background instead of the room camera, so we will fix that in just a second. But you know, all this cross-departmental conversation so that everybody knows what everyone's doing and that we're all working together and figuring out how we can best support each other on this mission. So we've got, you know, kind of 4 KPIs as part of the Housing Stat program. Create and maintain vibrant, diverse, and safe neighborhoods, increase the supply of low-income, affordable, and workforce housing, decrease the number of individuals experiencing homelessness. So that's kind of the KPI we're going to focus in on today, and improve the regulatory environment to reduce barriers to housing production. Last Housing Stat meeting, we mentioned that we were getting ready to launch a Performance Hub. That is now live. So if you go to charleston-sc.gov/innovation, there is a link on the innovation homepage that'll take you to the Performance Hub. So you can check it out. It is an ever evolving page meant to be a living document, if you will, that provides a one-stop shop for citizens, staff, whoever, to go in and see all the things that we are measuring and tracking as an organization. So we'd love to get folks feedback on that. So really quickly, I'm going to turn it over here very shortly to our housing team. We're going to get a report on homeless prevention, learn about some of the work happening through the Mayor's Commission on Homelessness and Strategy, and then a report on what's happening at the Hope Center. So lots of stuff happening around the unsheltered. So really excited to hear about all the great work that this team is doing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to housing team, and you'll have to bear with me while I pull up their presentation.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tracy. I'm Rebecca Dale. I'm the Deputy Director of Housing and Community Development, and I'm going to walk us through a little bit of data and the strategy to end homelessness and what, when we say end homelessness, what we mean by that term. So you can go to the first slide, Tracy.
Okay. Yeah, hold on, I'm trying
If
to
you
fix
can. No, it's working.
our video. Okay, all right, there we go.
All right, first, just a little bit of data around homelessness, how we count that, and what it looks like in the Low Country specifically. So one of the primary measure is what's called a point in time count. It's conducted every year in January. It's coordinated through the continuum of care. They rely on volunteers to go out to shelters, the community, and it is a physical count of people on a single night. So even though that's our primary measure, we have to kind of look at some other things to really get a true picture of what's happening. So 2022, there in the state, there was a little over 3,600 people counted on that night. In the Low Country, there was 324 people. If you look at the data, overall homelessness shows a decrease, which is great. But if you look historically, and it's 2007 to 2022, the rate of chronic homelessness is on the rise. And chronic homelessness is defined as over a year, repeated instances, and also individuals or families that are dealing with mental health issues, disability, substance use, things like that. The other metric I included was from the Interagency Council on Homelessness, which to me shows kind of a more accurate picture of the amount of people out there, because these are the calls that come in for services regarding homelessness or prevention services like rental, utility assistance, things like that. And it was close to 9,000 individuals. So even though we counted 324, there's some things out there that we probably should look at further.
Rebecca, I think, Dustin, did you have a question? I saw you had a raised hand.
Nope, sorry about that. Nope, I'll put it down.
Just checking, thanks.
So we can go on to the next slide. So the city of Charleston has a strategy to end homelessness. It's called Come Home. We updated it earlier this year and aligned it with the federal strategic plan. But I wanted to talk a little bit about when we say ending homelessness, what that means. It's a term called functional zero, which whenever possible, we want to get ahead of it, prevent it. If it does occur, we want it to be brief and one time, so we stop that cycle of chronic homelessness. So for our strategy, there's three overarching kind of categories that we kind of put them in: partnership, prevention, and programs. So as we look at defining the specific actions to align with this, it's going to be driven out of the Mayor's Commission on Homelessness and Affordable Housing and those subcommittees. And I'll go into a little bit of that next. And the next slide, this is for visual people like me. This is what a kind of comprehensive response system would look like. Ideally, we're hitting people in that prevention side. And these are not all inclusive items. Every individual is unique, their situation, how, what they're into that we could possibly prevent, or once they're experiencing it, it's very unique. So they can enter like at different points of engagement. Hope Center, but they walk into other nonprofits. There's the Trident United Way line they call in for services, a variety of entry points. But the idea is to get them what they need in that prevention standpoint. If they are currently experiencing homelessness, we want to respond to based on their needs. Obviously, shelter is a very basic primary initial need, and but then there's tons of other services that they may need while they're making that transition. And then post homelessness, like I said, shelter is that first step. But post homelessness, we want to set them up so they can have sustained success. And there, again, there's a variety of things that could be included in that. I think a lot of the financial literacy and mental health support. And then I wanted to point out too, one of the things that's come out in all stages of this is a best practice of reaching out to lived experience individuals and people that are currently experiencing for their feedback, as well as people that have exited and maintained some stability, and they, you know, have them advise us on how we should be approaching things. Their voice is very valuable. We can go to the next slide. This is some things that we actually did in 2023. We've been expanding services and staffing to serve the community. We also have additional funding via federal grants, which Kat is going to go through some of that, as well as competitive grants we've looked at. Some of things that have come out of best practices research is a low barrier housing initiative that was based out of Nashville that we're looking to bring here. It's in the early stages, but that can service a population where typically it's very difficult, if almost impossible, for them to rent, and we work with landlords to negotiate that and find them housing. The two grants that were competitive with, one was with Continuum of Care, which that is going to expand outreach services and also address the mental health issues, so like right where the people are. So that's exciting. South Carolina Opioid Relief Fund. This one was with CPD and fire. It's been amazing to coordinate those efforts and reach out to the community and help them through that and educate them on opioid use, as well as it's going to provide a licensed substance abuse counselor at our Hope Center location. Awesome. The next slide, these are the high level overarching strategic goals. And I'll just point out, you know, obviously affordable, stable housing is a primary goal, as well as the collaboration aspect of the commission and the people involved, because there is no way you can not have everybody involved in the community and different nonprofits to execute these things. Like I said, it's going to be run through the subcommittees of the Mayor's Commission. Right now, we're in the process of those subcommittees defining specific goals and actions to take to meet these overarching goals. So those will be presented next month to the commission. And then in 2024, it's going to be a process of executing on those, as well as defining success measurements coming out of that. Because one of the things that we want to do is a year from now, look at those kind of results, take them, improve the process, look for things we did good, look for things we could do better, and really make it a purposeful approach to addressing the needs of the community.
This makes me very excited. I love to see strategic goals and I'm very excited to see these kind of transition into some SMART goals where we can like measure the impact and like you said, identify, okay, what worked and what are the opportunities? What do we need to like really focus in on? So
Yeah, and I didn't put it on a
Makes me
slide,
excited
but
with
the work with the GIS team
Yeah.
and outreach and encampments, I think that that's gonna be very meaningful for us too, to refine that approach.
yeah, I think once we get it launched, we should probably kind of talk about that maybe a little bit in a housing stat meeting.
Yeah.
Before, not wait till this November meeting to do so.
Yeah,
I think of
I'm really excited about it. So, but yeah, and I can answer any questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll find them out for you. And if anybody's interested, that Interagency Council on Homelessness report has a lot more detailed demographic data, population data. If you really want to dive into the different groups, for lack of a better term, within that count. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Kat. She's gonna talk about some of our funding and our partners.
Any questions so far from folks in the room or with us online? Of course, y'all who are either participants or if you're panelists or an attendee, you should be able to utilize the chat or the Q&A to send questions at any time, and we'll try to get things answered for you. Oh, I see something. Oh yes, so Dustin wants a copy of that report. So
Okay.
we will make sure
send
to
it later.
get it out to
Yeah.
everybody. So fantastic. All right.
Okay, so we'll talk about funding and all of the allocations we provide to subrecipients during the program year to prevent homelessness. So in 2022, these are the city resources allocated toward homelessness services. So the first one is Humanities Foundation Shelter Net program, and they provide tenant-based rental assistance. We take CDBG funding, an amount of $20,000, and they've assisted 41 individuals and family members last year to prevent homelessness. 180 Place, we fund 180 Place operational costs. We use CDBG funding, $40,000, and they served 208 individuals last year. Charleston Pro Bono provides legal services to city residents. We allocate CDBG funds an amount of $20,000, and they assisted 15,000, and they assisted 90 individuals with case with support. City of Charleston tenant-based rental assistance program. We use home funds for that allocation, and we allocated $137,257, and that's still, and we're still in the midst of providing those funds. So we're still the person served is to be determined. Low Country Aid Services, they're doing business as Palmetto Community Care. They provide tenant-based rental assistance, short-term rent, mortgage and utility assistance to city residents dealing with HIV and AIDS. And we allocated $451,000, and they served 525 individuals last year. And then Roper St. Francis Ryan White program, they also receive HOPA funds. And we allocated $220,000, and they assisted 191 individuals. So the total amount is $883,000 that we provided funding, and we served 1,055 people last year. So for this year, that's the next slide.
I have a quick question, and I know the answer to, but it's kind of like an awareness thing, because I think this is part of understanding the challenge with the point in time counts as well. So person served, we don't really have any way to know if they're frequent flyers, as far as like, those aren't unique individuals, I guess we don't know if those are unique individuals or if they're multiple.
As far as these numbers are concerned,
Or they might
Like
be,
if the
these might be
person's
so
coming back for
different that they are unique individuals, or we think that they are.
I think, well, I know for humanities, it's a one-time thing, the payment, so those would be unique instances.
And I made like across the providers too.
So if they're under HOPWA, they are only able to provide services and funding for a specified period of time.
Okay,
And there's a 21-week period. And so once you are serviced by that, you can't circle back.
okay,
So in most cases under the HOPWA program, you are
It
not
is.
seeing repeat flyers, if you
Gotcha.
will.
okay,
And in most cases, even with humanities, once they've assisted you, if they've assisted you in 22, you can't come back for another year.
okay.
So you're on a year hiatus, and that's their way of being able to assist others who may have that need. So in most cases, there are some parameters either by the funder or by those agencies that manage the funds that limit folks from circling back too often.
Okay, interesting.
So. For
Oh, did I mess
2023.
up? I think I messed up. Sorry. Now you're on this slide. Sorry. Right?
Thank you, Tracy. So for this year, these are 2023-2024 allocations. We provide the same amount for $20,000 for Humanities ShelterNet program. The projected column is how many people they have informed us they're going to serve in their executed contracts. And mostly at times it's more than what they put in their contracts. So these are just our projected numbers. So 40 individuals will be served this year. 180 place, they served 208 last year, but their contract is 150 individuals. They're going to serve for $40,000. Charleston Pro Bono Legal Services, they received $20,000. They're supposed to be serving 58 individuals. City of Charleston Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program, we allocated $100,000, and it's still to be determined with the projection of persons served. Low Country Aid Services, doing business as Palmetto Community Care, we allocated $524,100, and they're supposed to be serving 450 individuals. And then Roper San Francis Ryan White program, we allocated $344,564, and they're projected to serve 650 individuals, totaling 1,348 individuals to be served, which is a little more than last year, and
Show that one
1,048,000.
again, since I'm totally screwed that up for you.
And as I was listening to Rebecca's presentation, I think for next November, I would like to put like the post, because we provide Trident Literature Association funds too, and that's education and job placements. So I'll put that for next year's
Oh, fantastic.
report.
Great. Is that it? Yeah. Any questions about those services and who's getting served? Okay, hearing nothing. I think it's the Latasha show now. Talking about the Hope Center.
Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. I am sorry, you guys. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I sound a little rough this morning. So please just bear with me, everyone.
You sound great, and we can hear you just fine.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to give an oral presentation this morning. Unfortunately, because I was out sick, I didn't have the opportunity to put my presentation together the way I wanted to, but I know the numbers because I do the work, so I'll just share, and I'm happy to answer any questions and forward that information. And I do apologize, but again, I was out sick and I just couldn't get to getting my presentation together the way that I wanted it. From August of this year until October the 31st, the Hope Center has served exactly 305 individuals. We are still the only place on the peninsula that serves breakfast to the chronically unhoused in the area. In addition to that, the Hope Center also participated in several outreach events. Most recently at Burke High School, we worked in collaboration with Molina Healthcare and participated in a community baby shower where we provided baby supplies, food, and other gift cards and services to over 100 moms in attendance. In addition to that, we also participated in a Circle of Love with the Charleston Police Department, the Department of Mental Health, and several other local agencies where we provided food and other resources to those at risk of being homeless, as well as those who are chronically homeless. In addition to this, we will also be partnering with Palmetto Community Action Partnership Network on December 1st to provide a utility assistance event at the center where we will serve 150 individuals. We will work with those families in order to prevent the disconnection of their services at home so that they can remain housed. And finally, we will be hosting a coat drive where we will be providing new coats to members of the unhoused community, as well as low-income families who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford coats. And we're also going to be providing food and gift cards for those families as well. And last but not least, for our homeless population, we are going to be serving a Thanksgiving dinner to the unhoused here at the center. That date will be announced very soon. But we're going to give them the opportunity to come to the Hope Center and fellowship and get a hot meal and learn on different ways that we can better serve them. The Hope Center continues to be very involved in the community by participating in various community outreach events. The only way we can truly learn the needs of our clients is meeting them where they are and listening and bringing that information back to our respective departments and putting a plan in place. I'm very pleased and proud of the work that we have done here at the center. And I look forward to continuing to do even more great work as we move on into the next year. And last but not least, so that I don't forget, we had a groundbreaking ceremony on October the 8th for the new Hope Center that's going to be located at 9 Cunnington Avenue. Even though the weather was horrible and it rained, we had over 80 people show up in that weather. And that shows the testament of the clients and the community members that believe in the Hope Center and all that we're doing. Thank you for that slide, Rebecca. As you can see, I'm sorry, I was just talking and the slide just popped up, you guys, I'm sorry. So as you can see from the slide in front of us, we're going to have an expansion of services that will include 90 housing units for clients that fall between the 30 and 60% area median income. We're going to also host employment programs and job readiness, a financial literacy program, and our services will continue to encourage a path of sustained stability and economic equity that will combat and end the cycle of homelessness. Next slide.
That's the last one.
That's the last one. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't overlook anything. And unless you're, sorry, Tracy, go ahead.
How do people make a donation to the Hope Center if they would like to?
Thank you, Tracy. You always ask great questions. So if you're interested, if you're interested in donating to the Hope Center, you can go online to www.homelessthehope.com and make your financial donations. Or if you're interested in volunteering at the Hope Center to serve breakfast or to help with showers or laundry or any other direct services, you can reach out to me directly and I'm happy to get you that information.
Awesome. Sorry you are under the weather, but appreciate you jumping in and giving us a brief update on what's happening there. Lots of good stuff at the Hope Center and some exciting times ahead for sure.
Thank you, Tracy. Did anyone have any questions for me?
No, Latasha, I was gonna add, we are partnering with the Mayor's Office for Children, Youth and Families for the Consumer Financial Empowerment Program to be offered from the Hope Center. And we are one of 3 in the state of South Carolina. And Mindy put forward that grant and we were successful in securing that. It will mean about $300,000 a year, but we will be able to help individuals who come to the center break the cycle of poverty through financial education. So we're really excited about that as well.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Gianna. And one other thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention, we also was a recipient of a grant from the Coca-Cola Foundation for $2,000. In addition to that, Coca-Cola has committed to being a partner of the center where they will visit quarterly and provide breakfast to our clients and continue to support us financially in other ways that they deem necessary. And I think that's really a great stride for the center. That shows the quality of work that we're doing here at the center and the support of the community that we have. So I'm really excited about that new partnership, and I look forward to additional partnerships with other organizations. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes.
I wanted to ask Latasha, Latasha, can you share, and I can't remember the gentleman's name that came to the groundbreaking that was a client that is now housed?
Sure, you're talking about Mr. Roosevelt. Mr. Roosevelt Smith is the client that Rebecca is referring to. He was a homeless older senior citizen living on the streets when we met him. And due to the efforts of the center, we were able to get him housed in a safe location. We were able to partner with another organization that we partner with to get him furniture that he needs for his home. We were able to get him connected with the different resources so that he can have food, so that he wouldn't experience any food insecurity. We were able to get him connected with a telephone. And now we're in the process of assisting with him being involved in some senior citizen activities in the West Ashley area so he can meet some new friends his age and remain engaged in his community. And those efforts would not have been possible without the partnerships of the center, as well as the diligent work that we have here with our team members. Also, we assisted with many families who moved to Charleston and were displaced, whether it was through the loss of a job or fleeing domestic violence. We were able to get those families reunited back with their loved ones in their home states. In addition to that, we continue to work very closely with the Charleston County School District McKinney-Vento program, providing the assistance that's needed for those families financially who may be facing homelessness temporarily. And last but not least, we just continue to work with our different partners to get our clients housed. We had one client who recently moved here from Florida who had lost everything and became homeless. And due to the efforts of team members here at the center, we were able to help her get her new identification card, a birth certificate. We were able to keep up with her progress on the rapid rehousing line, and she was just recently housed this week. So we're doing lots of great work here at the center. It takes all of us to do all of the great work we're doing. And again, I'm really proud of all that we've done this far. And I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to share a few brief moments of some of the good work we're doing.
Latasha, one more quick question. On the coat drive, when does that run for? Where could people drop off coats? What makes that easiest for you all?
So we are still working on the final logistics of it, because I can see how that could easily turn into a nightmare with just millions of people coming. But I promise, as I finalize the details, I will get it out to everyone that's a part of this call with more information on logistics and the dates that those items can be dropped off to the center. And thank you for your support of that. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anything else for Latasha? Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. Again, thanks for joining us while you're not feeling the best. But it's always great to hear what's happening. Any other questions generally about the work that's happening in the city around unsheltered? All right, hearing none, then our November meeting of housing stat is adjourned.